Hey, Juventini, welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel where it's all Juve all the time. I'm Alberto. I'm going to hit you with the news surrounding La Vecchia Signora to March 1st. Now, if you're new here, of course, like I said, it's all Juve all the time. It's your one-stop shop. So like the video and subscribe to the channel now without any more hesitation. The news. Agnelli will be announcing a new formatted Super League, okay, that apparently will not have permanent lock teams, and it's going to be announced this Thursday, apparently. So again, we will keep eyes on that and follow that one closely. We did a lot of coverage on the Super League when it first got announced, and we all, regardless of our opinions of it, thought that the presentation is what lacked, and they did a very, very poor job in presenting this new project. I want to know now, with everybody's thoughts, if they've actually changed anywhere in terms of what they think about the Super League, and if you think it's a good idea or you still think and remain it's a bad idea and that was your original opinion. For me personally, I've always been for it because Champions League, UEFA is a middleman and they take quite a bit from the clubs, and the clubs aren't able to make enough. And I see the Super League as a bit of a closer bridge to getting closer for some of these clubs to that Premiership money. Is it the be all end all? Is it the only way these teams can catch up? No. But if you're tied to a league like Serie A that we know struggles in terms of marketing, in terms of the production value and whatnot, then I could see why some of these clubs want to push and go that route. But I want to hear your thoughts. Have your opinion changed? Have your opinions all changed on the Super League? Now, without further ado, transfer news. Zaniolo. Apparently at Trigoria, they laugh at the number 40 million euros in terms of Zaniolo, and they think he's worth 80 million euros. They say he is worth the same value as Vlahovic. This is they can laugh all they want. They could think whatever they want, but here's the truth of the matter. If he doesn't renew and he wants to leave, they could lose him potentially next season for absolutely nothing. So regardless of what they think, it's the player's will that's going to hold all the leverage. And if he decides he wants to go, they lose all that leverage, and they should be happy with 40 million euros. Because like I said, people could just leave him and take him for free the next season, which, might I add, is probably not a bad route and might be the better way to go, because he still hasn't found that form that everybody had all this hype created about Zaniolo for. So the fact that he's coming back from big injuries and whatnot, it might be best to leave him there, and hopefully he excels a bit more before jumping on the Zaniolo train. So everybody, what do you think? Let Zaniolo sit for a season more to see if he can regain even closer to that form that he was prior to his injuries, or bite the bullet and take him in at 40 mil this summer, because it is apparent and confirmed from the top dogs that Zaniolo is a legitimate summer objective for Juventus. Okay, so there you have it. Zaniolo is a summer objective for Juventus. Now, in terms of other summer objectives, Jorginho. Apparently, Jorginho is a real, in fact, summer objective and target for Juventus. They are going to try to fund the move with a couple of players on their roster currently this season that they are going to be trying to move in the summer in order to make this one work. One of those players is Adrian Rabiot. Now, De Ligt. I want to talk about De Ligt because he had an interview which may not have seemed like a whole lot, but I picked up on a little something from that interview, and he was just speaking to the terms that Chiellini and Bonucci are often injured, and now he's finding himself in a very important role, and they're competing on three fronts, and he very, very much enjoys it, and he likes it. And he finished off with one little tidbit that says, Raiola's words were from 3 months ago. Things can change. I stopped and had to think about this because this is very, very interesting. This is pretty much putting credit to Raiola's words and saying almost, in fact, that he's validating them, saying that, yeah, he might have been looking for a step beyond Juventus. And now all of a sudden, with all the minutes and the fact that he could take an important role, and obviously Chiellini's future, maybe there's more light shed on that internally within the club. But this is very, very interesting because a lot of us thought, hey, no, De Ligt is happy. I don't see the player wanting to move. But ultimately, regardless of what we all think about Raiola, this proves what we've always said on this show, is that ultimately is always the player's will. We can hate Raiola. We can think whatever we want of him personally, but it's always the players that are making those calls. And I just found this little tidbit interesting. Now, we move on to Allegri's press conference. Okay, so Allegri's press conference, he says basically in terms of the player reports, Ake Sule Meretti, one of these players will play tomorrow. Okay, Stramacchioni, for those of you who don't know, is the youngster that went right through Rabiot in a challenge in a training session last week. He is in the lineup for the squad. He's on the squad list, okay, for tomorrow. In terms of Dybala and Bernardeschi, we will wait. They should be back with the group training on Thursday and should hopefully be able to take part in the match on the weekend against Spezia. Then you have Bonucci. Bonucci needs rest, Allegri says. So expect Bonucci to get rest. Vlahovic, he says, may also need rest. So the potential for Vlahovic not starting is there. Last but not least, De Sciglio will be playing, according to Allegri. So there you have it. That's the press conference. Just more a report on the players' statuses and where they stand. And obviously, this is the big key based on what we have to deal with for injuries, because we have a massive list of injuries. So he's got to navigate that. In this Coppa Italia, the fact that it's a two-legged tie, I spoke about this yesterday. I think we can afford to play a couple of the youngsters because it's a two-legged tie, and no disrespect to Fiorentina, but I think we would still have a solid enough base to come out of here with a result that puts us in a good position for the second leg to reach that Coppa Italia final. I don't think it needs to be a heavy rotation, a heavy amount of youngsters that we need to put in there, but I would have no fear to play a couple of them, and even one from the start, potentially two from the start. Now, March fixtures for Juventus. We obviously tomorrow Coppa Italia against Fiorentina, the first leg. Then on the weekend we have Spezia. The following week we will face Sampdoria, and then after that we have the midweek Champions League second leg clash against Villarreal, and then of course finishing off the month with Salernitana on that weekend. These are the 5 fixtures for March. Juventini, how do you see Juventus coming out of March? I see 2 tricky games. Okay, obviously the Champions League second league clash will be very, very intense, but there are some potential slip-up games in there too. They will all have to be navigated very, very well in terms of what we do because of the fact we have so many injuries. So normally, in normal circumstances, this is a very, very good looking month for Juventus, but because of the injuries, this could be a little bit tricky. Coppa Italia tomorrow, first leg tie. Spezia, Sampdoria, and Salernitana for the Serie A. Those are 3 must-win matches. Have to get maximum points in all 3 of those, okay? And of course, once you throw in that Villarreal Champions League clash, it becomes very, very tricky and changes that navigation. I still have high hopes and think Juventus come out of this one with maximum points in the Serie A matches. Potentially, maybe a draw tomorrow, but against Villarreal, I see us going through. That's how I see it. That's the news. Again, we will be back tomorrow morning because it's match day live. We're going to get ready for the Fiorentina first leg tie. We're going to be live here at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure you join us. We love to have you all in our live chat and take part as we get hyped up for this one. And then, of course, we'll be back on the weekend. And I'm going to try my best to do another live watch along since you guys enjoy those so much. Till tomorrow, Finoallafine, Forza Juventus. Ciao.